Now we've learned how to create the vertical alignment and the vertical geometry for River Road. We need to take a look at how we can make changes and edit our geometric elements for when we have design changes. So modifying the vertical geometry is very similar to how we modified the horizontal geometry. Some of the same tools are available in the Geometry Ribbon tab. So if you navigate over to the Geometry tab, and some of the editing tools you'll find will be append profile element, profile insert curve. Those can be found there. Complex redefine can be found here as well as the table editor. And then there's also some more modification tools found under the drawing tab. Once again, looking at the drawing panel. So we have the trim commands, delete, insert, and delete vertices and extend line. All those commands can be found in the drawing tab. So keep that in mind when you need to perform some changes to your vertical geometry. And again, we always have the dynamic text and manipulators by simply selecting the element and then keying in values. We can make changes that way as well as going straight into the properties. So we also have the properties here. So if you go to the properties tool, you can make some adjustments there as well. So I just want to point that out before we continue along. On this example, we're going to take a look at using the table editor to make some changes to our vertical geometry. So I'm going to go up to the table editor here, which is under the common tools. I'm going to select table editor. It's going to prompt us to locate our alignment. So I'm going to select our vertical alignment for River Road. And notice it brings up the profile table editor dialog. And that just lists all your geometric data in a tabular format. And all these fields can be edited, so we can edit the station, the elevation, the head slope, as well as the curve length. We also have the ability to lock in some of these values as well using the little check boxes next to each value. So as you navigate through the list, you'll see here each of the PI stations for the vertical alignment, and notice how that each PI station is highlighted in the profile model as you select each row. So we're going to make some changes to this first PI station here. We want to round this up a bit to a nicer number. So we're going to start here by adjusting this station, but we also want to make sure we hold the slope as well. So I don't want this -2% slope to change as I adjust this PI station. So let me just zoom in there a little closer so you can get a better look at this in the area that I'm working with here. So we want to hold this slope coming into this curve as we slide the PI station. So I'm going to come over here, I'm going to lock in the -2% slope. You can see it highlights that value, showing you that's the element's going to lock in at -2%. I'm going to come down here to that PI that we want to change. We're going to key in the new value of 110 plus 0.5, and that's going to create that PI for us, so it shifts it to that location. And it also adjusts the head slope, so keep that in mind when you're doing this. Now when you use this tool, it's just temporary until you actually hit the apply button. So everything we're doing, it kind of lets you see temporary graphics on the screen, what it's going to look like before you actually save it and apply it. So keep that in mind as well. Now another adjustment I want to make is I want to go down here to this PI location. So let me zoom out here. We're going to round that VPI to a nice number as well. So let me zoom down over here. I'm going to select that in my row. Notice it highlights that curve in the VPI station right there. So we're going to change this to 516 plus 85. So you can just come in here and key that in. But before we do that, we want to make sure we hold this outgoing slope over here. We don't want that slope to change when we make this adjustment to the station. So I'm going to toggle the lock button on there so it locks that ahead slope. And then over here, we're going to key in our new station of 516 plus 85. And then you can see it shows the temporary graphics there with the dashed line. And then now to actually apply this and save it back to the vertical alignment, we can press the apply button, and then it will save the changes for us. And then once we're done, we can just simply close the profile editor, and then we can continue on. So you can see it's a pretty quick and easy way to make some changes to your geometry.